3 Simple Rules for Success by Tony Robbins. That's what you're going to find out in this video, so make sure you stay to the end because the third is going to blow your mind. And it's going to be a simple technique to succeed.
Hunger, modeling would be maybe the next best skill, knowing that success leaves clues. Like, why reinvent the wheel? If someone took this plane, was Mickey's plane, who owns the Miami Heat and owns Carnival, right? I mean, you can learn so much from a man like Mickey. It blow your mind what this man has been able to do in his life. And so why would I go learn by trial and error and maybe take 10 or 20 years when I could learn from somebody in a few weeks or a few months or a few hours, something that could save me a decade? That's what it is. That's why I read 700 books in the first 7 years, because I was like, if somebody takes 10 years of their life, they pour it into a book, and I can read that in an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, why wouldn't I?
So before I trained in hypnosis and hypnotherapy, I actually trained in NLP. And in NLP, which is where Tony Robbins first originally started with his work, which was founded by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, focus on a term called modeling. Model what works. Ask yourself this question. Do you ever follow a recipe when you cook? Why do you follow a recipe when you cook? Because it gives you a similar, if not the same, outcome. You don't need to be Jamie Oliver, you don't need to be Gordon Ramsay, you don't need to be a good chef. You just need to follow the recipe to the exact amounts. And you get a similar, if not the same outcome. Reason being is you follow what works, because success leaves clues. If someone's made a good meal, all you have to do is put the same ingredients, cook it at the same temperature, and you're going to get the same result. So just as Tony Robbins explains here, why spend so much time learning something yourself and learning the hard way when you can pick up books like Kintsugi for the Mind by Max Hindle, highly recommended book, get it in the link below, where you can understand the years that they have experienced and you can take it on. Now, don't get me wrong, because we do need to go through hard lessons in life. I truly believe that. I'm all for hard lessons. I go through hard lessons. I've been through many hard lessons, and they've taught me a lot. But without the information, I wouldn't have done it as fast. And I'm going to be honest with that. Information changed my life. The information itself didn't change my life. The application of the information changed my life. So if you see someone doing something successfully, find out what they've done, copy what they've done, and get the same result. If you want to get a six-pack, why do we do crunches or sit-ups? Because everyone knows if you do sit-ups, you get a six-pack. But you've got to do enough. You can't just do one sit-up. You can't just read one book. You can't just have one salad. It's about consistency with the thing that you're going to do. Find one person, just one person, whether that's me, whether that's Tony Robbins, whether that's someone else that has succeeded in the area you want to succeed in. Dive into their history, figure out what they've done, how they've done it, and you will get similar results if you stay consistent with it.
I think when you achieve things, it comes from incredible obsessive focus, massive action, and figuring out how to execute and do things effectively, and it's grace. Right. And I never forget that that's a part of the formula for where my life is today.
If you want to attract great things into your life, you need focus and massive, gigantic, huge action, as Tony Robbins says. It starts with the focus to understand what is it that I do want, how do I want to get it, and massive, gigantic, huge action. As I said in the first step about modeling someone, first you find someone to model, then you focus on one specific area, then you take massive, huge action, and you'll start to get the results. Because modeling someone is understanding what they've been through. Focus and action is actually going to do what they've done. Because when you do what they've done, you will get the similar result. But if you step away from modeling in general, someone who's done something for long enough and they've done it hard enough is eventually going to win. And this is why people that don't even believe in the law of attraction, that don't even believe that we create our own reality, don't even believe in any of the higher spiritual powers, can still attract a successful life financially, because they understand in action. Because when you move into a state of action, your state of being is, I've done it, success. And you look at anyone who's very business mind in that aspect. A great example is Gary Vaynerchuk. He doesn't necessarily believe in all the spiritual stuff, but his mindset is, I've done it. It's already done. I just need to keep going. If you've got that attitude and you can focus and take massive action, you will succeed. Because if you're someone who truly wants to succeed, if you just run for longer, you'll win the marathon. If you just stay on that treadmill for that much longer, you'll win the race. If you just continue, even despite the pain, you will succeed. And I'll give an example with my life. Every time I got to a certain point, I would stop because it was very difficult. I wanted to quit. And I did this recently last year with all the stuff I'm doing now. I got to that breaking point of, I just want to quit. It's just, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I haven't seen a huge success. But then I look back and I said, but look at what I have created. Look at where I have got to. And look at where I can be. Because effectively, the compound effect is working in this aspect. After 1 year, you're 10% of the way there. After 2 years, you're 20% of the way there. After 3 years, you're 40% of the way there. After 4 years, you're 80% of the way there. And after 5 years, you've hit your jackpot of where you want to be. Now, I'm not saying this is always 5 years, but that's just the compound example of it just doubles, because the more you do it, the better you become. After your first driving lesson, you probably weren't that good. After your 10th driving lesson, you were probably very good. But now you've been driving for so long, you just don't think about it. You just are a driver. You're in a new state of being. And that's the goal. When you can do something and take massive action for long enough, your state of being changes to who you are becoming.
You and I both have interviewed people, I'm sure you have, that are born with no arms or legs, or they've lost their sight, or and they're happy.
Yes.
And then you meet billionaires or people, families, they got beautiful kids, beautiful husband, beautiful wife, and they get miserable over anything. I really believe you have to make that's the most important decision of your life, is that no matter what happens, I'm going to live in that state. And then you have to do the work, which is, I got a 90-second rule. When I get pissed off or frustrated, suffering comes up. It always shows up. But what I decided is, within 90 seconds, I kill it. Because in that suffering state, I'm not going to be there for my wife or my kids. In that suffering state, if I solve it, I'm going to be miserable even though I solve it, right?
So this is what Tony Robbins calls the 90-second rule. Now, I am a massive optimist and believe that we can do this, but I also want to give people more of a chance and more of an advantage, especially as I know from my own personal state of well-being, when I first started, I couldn't crush something that quickly. I just couldn't. And I don't want to be naive to think that everyone can, because not everyone can. We all have the capability to do so, but we're in a state of being that doesn't allow us to, and I totally understand that. So Tony Robbins has the 90-second rule, where in 90 seconds, he will crush the negative state of being and change his physiology and change his state. So I'm going to offer you a whole understanding that is based around Tony Robbins' 90-second rule, just over a slightly longer period of time, and exactly what I've done to go from when I have been through very tough times in very negative states of mind to switch it and become instantly calm again. So what I want you to do is set a timer on your phone for 9 minutes. Let's change it from the 90-second rule to the 9-minute rule. For 9 minutes, I want you to stick a timer on your phone. As you can see, we stick it on. Oh, set. And we go. We are on a 9-minute timer. For the next 9 minutes, what I want you to do is sit there and really be sorry for yourself. Really feel the victim. I want you to express what you need to express. Say whatever you need to say. Now, don't try and cover it. Don't try and mask it. That is not what we're trying to do here. And a story that I will give you is when I went through some stuff a while ago after one of my breakups, I sat and meditated on it. I said, I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to meditate on it. Meditate for an hour and a half. My solution after my meditation was, no, I want to be angry. I'm entitled to be angry because of what happened. I'm entitled to it. That doesn't mean I can go and punch walls and go and break stuff. That's not what it means. But I'm entitled to feel a human emotion, mainly because I'm a human. Might be an alien, but I'm a human. You are a human too. You also might be an alien, but you're here today as a human. And I want you to understand that please use this 9 minutes to vent it out. Say what you need to say. Write anything down. If you literally want to just stand and scream, stand and scream. If you want to understand how to release trapped emotions, click this video up here because I made a video explaining the whole process. Again, a little technique. You can use it. But use this 9 minutes to really vent it out and get it out of you. Because being negative isn't actually a bad thing. We need to get rid of these emotions. The more we cover them and mask ourselves, the more difficult it is to see. I literally cannot see a thing. Why? Because I'm covering it. I'm masking it. Now I can see perfectly. So if you give yourself those 9 minutes to vent, to shout, to scream, to just scream into your pillow, whatever you want to do, give yourself that time. Because when you have that time, after, you will feel a sense of... Because once that 9 minutes is up, bye, bye, bye. Okay, my phone's not on loud. So once that 9 minutes is up, it's time to let that steam go. What the hell? Why is it not making any noise? So once that 9 minutes is up, I've just had a ridiculous amount of time trying to do this. Once the 9 minutes is up, you can let it all go. Why is it not making any noise? This is ridiculous. Okay, right. Screw it. I don't need to do it. Once your 9 minutes is up, you can let that go. And I'm not saying you have to forget about it. I'm not saying that at all. But you need to let this energy flow out of you. The energy is literally like an energy ball inside of you. And the more you repress it, the more it's going to hurt. We need to let it go. This is a huge rule for success. Because if we hold on to everything that we've been through, everything we've done, everyone that's hurt us, we're never going to succeed in life. We're never going to progress. So use the 9-minute rule and change your life. Other than that, make sure you grab a copy of Kintsugi for the Mind on Amazon, link down below, and subscribe.